Maybe.
I wanna be the best in the game, invest in my name, check no restraints, I'm obsessed with the pain, I ingest, I retain, assess and I change, possessed by the thought I'll be free one day from society's restraints, money, clout and fame, mud, disease, a plague, we all love to hate, have to play the game, have to make a name, all our insecurities are on display. This is war with the enemy, think that it was meant to be, living in a time where disease is on every screen, I won't let them fester me, I know most are festering, negativity is a plague for the mentally weak, no mercy, all I got is working, never stop searching, never quench the thirsty, I'm toxic and psychotic, with this logic, you can't stop it, it's been chronic, since I was a boy, so neurotic and chaotic,
built to last with the webs I'm weaving, I could change the past with all I'm achieving, got my foot on gas, never stop competing, if you break like glass, then this life's gonna eat 'em, make mistakes real fast, then you learn how to beat 'em, if you take off the cast, you can see all the healing, if the pain's in the past, move on from the grave and put your foot on the gas, no, never stop competing, yeah.
I've been doing this, I'm on it, I just wanna be iconic, sipping on a gin and tonic, got me going off when I'm on this topic, yeah, if I ever play I want it, you know that I'm always honest, stay away from those who are toxic, keep them out your face, no way, you don't want them, yeah. Don't try to drain my energy, the enemy is everything, it's mentally, unhealthily, spreading like a rare disease, but I won't let it get to me, I don't need your therapy, I can leave a legacy of leading by intensity, come on, we can fight this, freedom is priceless, spread just like a virus, living in a crisis, do you feel courageous, do you seek greatness, trust me you can take it, go on and take your aim, yeah.
Built to last with the webs I'm weaving, I could change the past with all I'm achieving, got my foot on gas, never stop competing, if you break like glass, then this life's gonna eat 'em, make mistakes real fast, then you learn how to beat 'em, if you take off the cast, you can see all the healing, if the pain's in the past, move on from the grave and put your foot on the gas, no, never stop competing, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's the Value Wrestling. We're here at the end of Lodi Comic Con, and we got a Choppy challenger entering his name into the Choppy Hall of Fame after a beautiful long interview. The one, the only AJ Kirsch. Mr. Z, are you ready for the Choppy?
Yes.
When you are ready, gentlemen,
all right,
let the chopping begin.
The world tour continues, and I'm just gonna move that behind you. This is not going as smoothly as I thought. How does this go?
There you go.
There we go.
Oh, man.
I said choppy, not choke him out.
All right, here we go.
All right.
Ready?
Yep.
Ooh, woo!
Choppy World Tour continues.
You good?
Yeah, I'm good, brother.
That was a hell of a chop.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for hanging.
There we go
there.
again, man. Gotta add another one. Whew. That's one more to the list. Let's go again somewhere else.
Value Wrestling World Tour continues. Choppy.
Oh, you didn't know, ladies and gentlemen, he's got to show off his battle scars. Because, well, I mean, that's what he's got to do. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, it's the Value Wrestling. It's your Monday Night Raw review show where we're going to break down everything that happened there on Monday Night Raw tonight. But, ladies and gentlemen, the Choppy World Tour carried on as the third member has etched his name into the infamous Choppy Hall of Fame. Who's next? The names seem to be calling out as they're coming out. I threw a new name out there today because I said, who's next? And I said, maybe at Bill Goldberg. Maybe we can hunt down Bill Goldberg and let him give you a choppy. That, or we'll just let him spear you. One of the two. Anywho, ladies and gentlemen. Yes. Yes, it seems like the biggest name seems to be a couple of buddies of 1-8, Kirsch, or some people he may know from Hood Slam. Maybe it's time that Hood Slam gives us a little holler and invites us out to a Hood Slam show so we can bring the Value Wrestling to Hood Slam and the Hood Slam to the Value Wrestling. who knows what's going to happen next. But we have a couple names that are really saying we're next. So we're going to see if that takes place. Of course, we know there's several other names that are existing out there in the universe. J.R. Kratos has picked up and said, hey, it might happen. Never know when Jeff Cobb might need to take Mr. Z on a tour of the island. Maybe Jacob Fatu returns home for a break, returns home to SPW where he was a former tag team champion. Talk about
Well,
full.
what about the guy that's popping up everywhere? JBL. You
Yes,
just never know.
JBL was in Lake Tahoe, possibly today. May have been recorded yesterday and put up today. I don't know exactly when he was there, but he said he was clotheslining tourists in Lake Tahoe today, which is just a short drive up the road. Mr. Z didn't seem to want to jump up and take that short ride to Lake Tahoe, where there's some beautiful weather and nice water. I mean, you know, what's the worst Mr. Layfield could do? What's up, Kaylee? Welcome to the show.
I couldn't go to Lake Tahoe without taking the missus, and if the missus wants to watch me get clothesline from hell in the woods, that's fine.
We could take her. We could have a good time. We could go up and, you know, you could lay in the back of the car after you got your head knocked off, and we would just have a toast of the town, and you could lay in the back of the car in pain and ravel until we were, you know, done having fun. You know, we'll bring you something nice to eat, you know.
And another name that we need to bring up, we need to bring up the patriarchy of the Choppy World Tour. Matt Cardona's looking to go somewhere. I mean, you did reach out to him.
He said, let's book 2025, and he's like, what independents have I not been to? And I'm like, why not SPW? Why not make it happen? Why wouldn't SPW and the people at SPW not want always ready Matt Cardona to show up at a show? We know that many big names have come through and showed up and showed out. So there's any time somebody else like a good always ready Matt Cardona could show up and show out, could be a fun time. So, I mean,
yeah.
But he may be the first name that etched his name in the Hall of the Fame for the Choppy Chop World Tour, but I don't know if he's the father, the creator of the Choppy World Tour, so I don't know if that patriarchy theme really fits. He may have been the first to do it.
True, but I mean, yes. He
You
set
may or
the
may
tone.
not become the first two-time.
Oh,
Yes.
we could get a repeat.
Too.
Now that the bar has been raised a little bit, he may need to come back and reset that bar. Maybe we can get him an SPW, and him and Chima can have a chop off with Mr. Z, and we can see who chops the hardest and let the fans vote.
What?
Yes, SPW, Chima, Matt Cardona, Choppy World Tour in stereo surround to see who chops hardest.
Doesn't help that we pissed off Chima at Lodi Comic-Con. That doesn't help.
Scoot. Hey, I noticed Scoot Robertson has several shirts on ProWrestlingTees.com. I'm thinking I might have to buy a Scoot Robertson shirt. Never know.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's what we should do. We should dress up.
No.
What if we had Mr. Z dress up as Chima?
I have a wig, but it's dreads. It's not the big hair.
We could have Mr. Z play the role of Chima. This could get interesting. Or we could have you could play Sure Samurai. I mean, you know. Always thinking. Oh, yeah, I know it's a Monday night post-show review. You're all here for Monday Night Raw. You want to hear about Monday Night Raw. We're talking about everything else. So let's get into Raw. We'll come back to all this stuff. Raw opens with Mr. Clarke's favorite wrestler of all times right now, the Yeeter of Worlds, Mr. Clarke. Got to see his Yeet buddy, Mr. Jey Uso, coming out as new Intercontinental Champion. He comes out in the ring. He talks his talk. He talks, you know, blah, blah, blah. His family didn't think he could do it. He was a twin. Now he's a champ. He's the main event. Eventually, he was interrupted by Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker came out and gave him respect, and Braun Breaker was going to go leave. Jay brought him back in for a moment because the dogs are barking in Indiana. Braun finally walks out of the ring, and we end the segment in a very weird segment. It seems like the rumors of Braun Breaker going babyface seem to be true, and I don't think that's the reset that was necessary. This was an okay opener. Jay got his flowers. His son was there for that moment before he walked through the curtains down through the crowd, but none of this did anything for anybody. I don't know what we're getting from Braun Breaker. I don't know if we're getting a swerve here. The only thing that was weird that he was here and then he went and got in the face of Gunther shortly after this. There was a lot of rumors coming from big names in the industry talking about that Braun Breaker is scheduled for a possible babyface run. Was this the start of it? Is this a giant swerve? I don't know. I didn't like any of it. It didn't do anything for anybody. Did not make Jay look any better. Did not make Braun look any better. This was kind of, to me, pointless. Sadly, it didn't really move a direction for anything. Like it left you going, okay, are we getting swerved by Breaker or is this a babyface turn? What, I mean, this was weird. It was really weird. It was just kind of weird. I don't know. Mr. Clarke, your thoughts on the opening segment with main event Jey Uso and the Braun Breaker? That's what I thought.
Yeet.
The Eater of Worlds is now yeeting. Yeet.
Either I feel like this angle is either going to be a swerve or it was meant to be a conclusion, which means you're jumping to conclusions on where it's going because it's hopefully, the end, or they'll circle back later. It wasn't meant to be this big moment for Braun Breaker.
Oh, yeah.
If it's legit, if it's, the face turn or whatever, then it was the start of the respect. So again, it's a conclusion. It's not a big moment on Braun Breaker's part.
Yeah.
The celebration, that was kind of cool for Jey Uso. Got to feel like Roman Reigns for about 2 seconds with the big pyro and whatever. It was what it was. I didn't think it was a bad segment. I just thought it was what it was, and we'll see where things go, see what the next step is.
No. And it could very well be the conclusion, and they're turning Braun Breaker face, and I'm just kind of like, I don't think that's going to be the reset he needs again. But we will have to wait and see. It was just kind of a weird segment the way it concluded. It all was just kind of like, okay, well. Because I would still think with some concluding, there would be a little more of a direction. I mean, we got the respect, but it was also still like they left enough on the table on that plate. There's just a couple of scraps left there that you can kind of go, is this a swerve? So.
Here's the real problem, though. I trust Braun Breaker about as much as I trust MJF. That dude, like, he's never really faced even when he's playing face.
Yeah.
So that's why I have a very cautious, let's see where it goes.
Yeah. Mr. Z, there was a big meaty man in the ring. Were you excited?
No. If this is what they're doing to Braun Breaker, I feel like it's not going to work. It's the last thing they need to do to him. We talked resets, and this is what they're going to do. I'm not excited for it if that's the case. He needs to be treated as a monster and needs to be a monster. But if they do it, this is not going to look well.
Anyway,
what are you basing that off of?
What?
This is not going to end well. It's like, because we've seen him in NXT, and he can play the role.
But it doesn't work for him.
First of all, it worked for him in NXT. Now we just haven't seen it, translate over to the main roster yet.
Turned him that way. The fans ain't turned him that way here. Mr. Clarke, the Yeater of Worlds, my friend.
Yeet.
Braun Breaker.
Yeet.
Braun Breaker as a baby face does not help.
I think we've seen some kind of substance, which is the one thing we haven't seen yet.
I think Braun Breaker was babyface in NXT and it worked for what it was. On the main roster, he just hasn't been presented. They're trying to tell you he's a beast, he sort of had it with the ending of Ricochet, but they never really followed through with that loop. Now that they realize
Like I said,
now that they realize putting the Intercontinental title on him may have been too soon, because it was really, the title was trying to make the man more than the man was trying to make the title. They moved it to Jey Uso, which I don't get why some people think Jey Uso shouldn't have the Intercontinental title, because I'm kind of like, I think he's earned it. He's the right man to have in that position right now, to have a decent Intercontinental title run. I mean, who better than Jey Uso right now with everything he has at the table? Is he the best in the ring? No. Is he great on the mic? Yes. I mean, he has the charisma. He has it. It's a good position. The only other option you would have is to throw him back over on SmackDown, put him back in the Bloodline storyline. And with him being the Intercontinental title, I don't really know if they're going to make that pullback over as we are running right into Survivor Series. So I think where he is and what he's doing is fine. Breaker, I think they wanted to push something, and it just didn't connect with the fans. The fans were kind of cheering him more than booing him. I mean, at least you got the woo, 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 but I mean, it's, I think, we got to see what he's going to do with the babyface. Again, I think a hard reset, and then you let this man come back. I think he just needs to go off TV. I mean, I think he needs, it's fondness, time away, lets us kind of delete what we've seen. And then if he comes back at the Rumble and eliminates like 10 men, hell, maybe he gets close to, Kane's and Brock Lesnar's elimination streak, or elimination numbers in one Rumble. Let him come in at number 3 or 4 or something as a return and just start throwing people out until somebody, else comes in. I don't know if that's a Bronson Reed or a Braun Strowman or, a Drew or a Seth or somebody that he can't just chop. But at least you give him that streak as a return. Now he looks like a bad butt. And then you just start having him work through lower to mid to upper card guys. Just have him go on a... I mean, he's got to get that...
in the formula.
He's got to have the Goldberg treatment. That's what I think he needs to really get him in that position to say long winning streak.
Absolutely. The thing is, we keep talking about alignment when it's like the real deal, like you guys also keep saying, is that he needs to actually look like a badass and run through people.
Yeah.
Whether he's face or heel is irrelevant. Ultimately,
yes, that
Goldberg
is.
was a face and got over with the monster push.
Yes, and that's very true. Whether he's face or heel or whatnot, but I just feel like, I think for right now, he just needs to go away, because I don't think, if he goes away and comes back as babyface, it's one thing. Just to turn him babyface, you don't really get a restart. It's just like, he's the babyface now, okay? He still needs that impact. He still needs to be unstoppable. He needs to be everything they're telling you he is. He runs at 23 miles per hour. Well, if he's running at 23 miles per hour, those spears need to be like, people need to be losing their shoes in the middle of the ring type of spears. I mean, they need to feel like it's knocked the wind out of his opponent, and they have not presented him that way. I think you have a great opportunity to give Goldberg his retirement match. You bring Goldberg back on a retirement return, whether it's 6 months, maybe it's a year, but very limited matches. I'm not saying he needs to be on every episode, every pay-per-view, but you do sporadic things, and it builds to him versus Braun Breaker at next year's WrestleMania, where he loses to Breaker. Breaker gets the torch, something. I think that's where you could really do something special on both ends, give Goldberg kind of what he wants so he can go off in the sunset. And then, hell, you know what? Maybe you get Gage Goldberg to show up in WWE. Maybe we get him interested in doing a little bit of wrestling. And maybe Gage turns on his daddy and aligns with Braun Breaker. Maybe you get a new legacy group with Scott Steiner's son, Braun Breaker, and Gage Goldberg. I mean, there's a powerhouse team that would be a new form of legacy. I don't know, but I mean, you have elements in here to make something interesting.
Sure.
I just
See, now that you bring up Goldberg, I'm chuckling to myself because all I can hear is Bret Hart just crying.
Oh my God! And now you got to bring up Bret Hart into a story that nobody wants to talk about. Okay, the man was great when he used to wrestle. Then he went to WCW and became hot garbage. He got kicked in the face by accident. He can't get over it. It was a fucking accident. Goldberg's freaking apologized publicly on numerous channels, and I believe even on what was a Dark Side of the Ring or whatever it was, where he did the apology. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Dude, get over it, okay? I mean, you have ruined your legacy basically being so bitter about everything that happens in the past. It's like, let's move on. Let's find Happy Brett. I mean, let's see Happy Brett in the WWE. I know you're not going to wrestle, but damn. Can we at least just see Happy Brett? Can Brett bring back the Hart Foundation in some group? Maybe that's what you do.
Wait, when you talk about someone being speared out of their shoes, I'm like, can we get Braun Breaker to spirit Bret Hart? Just for shits and giggles.
No, we don't want that. Brett is not in a state where he can take a spear, and I don't think that's good. If anything, Brett should bring back a Hart Foundation with Natalya. He could use Lexus King. I mean, there's a lineage there. Maybe you get David Hart-Smith back in there. You know, you pull something back together. Maybe he plays a manager role if you want to do something with him. Otherwise, Brett just needs to go on his way and get over his life and be happy. So every time I see him, he just seems bitter and just stuck on Goldberg. Like, I have never seen somebody so obsessed. I mean,
the last time I've seen Bret Hart happy was a picture of him at a Raiders game when they were still in Oakland, had a beer in his hand and smiling. That was the last time I've seen him happy.
But I haven't seen anybody this obsessed over somebody since maybe somebody's ex-girlfriend. I don't
Douglas
know.
And Ric Flair.
Who?
Oh.
Douglas and Ric Flair.
Yikes. Anyways, let's move on. Anyways, we saw Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston talking. We saw Woods snapping. We got a replay on Ray last week and Ray challenging him to a match. And that's what we're getting tonight to open Monday Night Raw with the first match between Xavier Woods and Rey Mysterio. Of course, then we also saw before the match Dominic Mysterio and Liv Morgan hanging out by a lowrider. And then they announced that the lowrider luchador, I don't know, they got some toy car that it was like the luchador lowrider. And I'm like going, anywho.
Product placement.
Yes. Then Finn calls Dom, JD McDonough and Carlito walk up. And they all walk off together. Xavier Woods versus Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio was pretty much the control of most of this match. Woods still in the black outfit. Woods seemed a little stressed out. Woods set up, or Rey set up for a 619. Rey misses the kick. Wood lifts him up, but almost drops him. I don't know if this was intentional or this was slightly of a botch, because the way Woods was supposed to pick up Rey and then grab onto the mask, eventually Woods ripped the mask off of Rey's face. Rey's so worried about the world seeing his face that he covered his face and got himself pinned by Xavier Woods. With Xavier Woods getting a big victory over a former world champion and a Hall of Famer. This match went 7 minutes, 27 seconds, and it was blah. Xavier Woods pinning Rey Mysterio should feel a little bigger, but it doesn't. We see what they're doing here. But I have to agree with some of the people who are online saying, doesn't Rey know the world has Google now? Like, we've all seen it before. We've seen him without his mask. It's happened. It's kind of like, really, you're that worried about people see? I get the historic reference to the mask and the luchador style, and I don't think Rey's ever been truly unmasked in WWE, but at the same time, it's like,
no.
Here we are.
On WWE Network / Peacock, you can go to watch those WCW matches as a part of the Filthy Animals, where he doesn't have his mask, which is so ludicrous. I mean, for the sake of the story, I understand why they did it.
Yes.
But by the same token, it's like, don't insult our intelligence. Come on.
And Xavier Woods left looking conflicted about what he did, but also with a little bit of a grin. It's an interesting, weird heel turn we're getting here. I guess we're going to get kind of like a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde type of thing. Like, it's going to be this slow, like, I didn't mean to do it, but I did it, and it felt good. And we get to get into more of that later. Mr. Z, your thoughts on Xavier Woods getting a win over Rey Mysterio?
You called it in the chat prior to this, saying that Woodsy needs the win.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it was a great win. It was how they play it was accidental. Oh, I didn't mean to rip off his mask. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. I just let this man do what he needs to do and turn already.
I kind of like the slow turn, but I do think the way this match ended in a roll-up with Rey's mask off, I mean, at least could he not, like, Ray was trying to cover his face and hit, a finishing maneuver to like get a clean pin instead of just kind of a cheesy roll up.
Yeah.
It just
Hey,
the cheesy.
how you win is irrelevant.
I get that, but I think it would have had a little more or a little more solid. He would have removed the mask. Ray was playing with his mask and do some type of move instead of just a cheesy roll up, because I felt like it just made Ray look kind of stupid. Like, we all know what you look like without the mask. And then Woods winning because the mask came off, which I don't know. It just, I don't know if it came off exactly as good as they wanted it to. It is what it is. Woods needed to win, but I wish it would have been just a little more of a something other than a cheap roll up. I guess that's the best heel thing, but I mean, it's like, I don't know. Still kind of just not. It wasn't a great match overall. It was a mid match. These two weren't just. Ray's showing a little bit of his age as part of it, I think.
He's not exactly a spring chicken. So.
No, I know, but it hurts. I mean, we talk about the Hardys and we see how they moved out it. Matt's out there going, and Jeff's out there going,
Oh, Lord.
They move. When it used to take you 5 minutes or 5 seconds to get to the ring, and now it takes you 30 minutes to get to the ring, you might have an issue.
Right.
Anyways, Lyra Valkyrie is backstage, and here comes Shayna Baszler and Sonya Deville, part of some stable. Pure Fusion, whatever.
Collective.
Yeah, the collective. They're collecting Pure Fusion, the newest energy drink on the streets. Collect yours today. Yes, Pure Fusion Energy. Anyways, they talk to her, and they're gonna have a match later. We get the glowing rock that everybody thinks is gonna be the Ray Phoenix and Penta showing up in WWE, because there's a P, an F, and an R. And I'm just like, I wish you guys would grow up. We've seen all these things. But the person here said it's the reintroduction of the Minnesota Viking Raiders of Los Angeles. Yeah.
Wow.
Anyways, no, what it is, it's what it is the reintroduction of the War Raiders. You get your shield and be prepared. It's going to be the return of the War Raiders. I don't think we're going to have the Viking Raiders. I think we're actually going to get the War Raiders finally back, which is fine by me. Again, though, you can call them the Viking Raiders, the War Raiders, the Treasure Trolls, the Lost Vikings, I don't know. You can call them whatever. If you don't book them well, then it doesn't matter what you call them. Do what?
What if they went back to the Viking experience?
Yes, they can go back to the holiday Viking experience, or I don't know, the Viking experience musical, or whatever you want to call them. I mean, it doesn't matter what you call them. If you don't book them right, then it doesn't mean anything. So if you're going to bring back the War Raiders, hopefully you're going to bring back the War Raiders that we saw in NXT and Ring of Honor and elsewhere. We need the War Raiders to feel like they're the War Raiders. And hopefully it's back to what Eric and what was Rowan? So tired of Ivar. But
Ivar was the name.
Well, his name is Ivar now, but it wasn't originally like Rowan or something.
It's been so bloody long, I'd have to look back, to be honest.
Yeah, so we're going to get the War Raiders. That's all that is. People, you've seen that emblem before. You can go back and watch old videos. That was always on their shields and everything. It's always been a part of their thing. So how you want to jump up and down and think it's Ray Phoenix and Penta, when Ray Phoenix is being held up by Tony Khan for another year due to injury to his contract because he won't resign and Tony Khan doesn't want to let him go to WWE. Since Tony Khan wants to be the Vince McMahon of wrestling now, for whatever reason. I wonder if he
they kind of screwed that fight going public.
Go what?
By making public comments, Penta kind of screwed himself over.
Yeah. Wow. But Tony Khan was promised us he would never be that guy. So, right? I'm not going to be that way. If you don't want to be here, I don't want
Tony
you
Khan
here.
said a lot of things.
Oh, yeah. Tony Khan's a paranoid mother trucker. That's what happens when you, all the time. But anywho. Backstage, Kofi Kingston as...
Participate in that hashtag.
Yes. Kofi Kingston catches up with Woods backstage and asks if it was on purpose. Woods says no, he didn't mean for it to happen, but then he got mad because he's like, what, you're not celebrating I won over a champion? And then Kofi's like, yes, you won. And then Kofi said, I got news. Jay said I could have an Intercontinental title shot, but I told him no because you deserve it. And I'm like, what kind of boots did they make Kofi Kingston in? The former WWE World Champion is the biggest boots in the company. Oh, he offered me an Intercontinental title shot, but you know what? Because I'm a giant booch and I mistreat you, and because you're a crybaby now, Woods, I'm going to give you the title shot and say that you deserve it because that's what we do as friends.
You're telling me this storyline is that hard for you to follow? It's not just because he's a booch.
Oh, because it's what? Oh, you haven't won.
Little...
Because you haven't won a singles title, so here's your opportunity. Well, I can beat Jay.
It's not going to happen, but at least they're going to have him try.
You could beat Jay, Kofi. I mean Xavier. You could beat Jay. Yeah, okay. You think pretty mighty high of yourself. I know it's about he's never had a singles title. I know they're trying to. It's kind of like I know, my buddy. You haven't had your time to. You haven't had your time to shine. Me and Big E shine big. Now here's your chance at the secondary title in the company to shine brightly. It's not a world title, but you know you can't be like us.
When you wish upon.
I know it was just like. It was just like I get what they're doing, but I'm just like. That's how we do that. Like, couldn't we just have some interaction that gave it a title shot instead of Kofi just be going, gosh, geez, Woods, you've never had a title shot, so I told him to give it to you. I don't want it. Just like, I'm sorry, anybody in wrestling, oh, you want a title shot? Sure. You're just going to give it up for your friend. Of course, behind him the whole time is Karrion Kross rubbing his hands, looking like he's like, yeah. Yes. Yes. Mr. Burning his way, Mr. Burns his way to the top. Excellent.
I got nothing. We'll keep going. Yeah, there we go.
Karrion Kross over there behind him, staring at him like, well, DeVille just found 101 Dalmatians. Lyra, I swear I can talk. Promise you, Lyra Valkyria.
Yeah.
Yeah. You said it right.
Yeah,
I know. It just doesn't sound right. She took on Zoe Starks. He turns late. Ref checks on Zoe. Sonya hits Lyra with the knee. Zoe with a Z360, and that's all she wrote. Zoe Starks gets a win here, cheaply. And then Kaden Carter and Katana Chance made their return. And I have nothing. There's just nothing here. Lyra Valkyria is new on the roster, and they felt like they were going to make her special. And then she's kind of floating in this weird zone. This Pure Fusion Collective is getting down. Zoe Starks has not been presented in a way that's helping her. Who cares about Kaden Carter and Katana Chance?
Unfortunately, that's true.
TikTok cares about.
I mean, I'm not trying to be mean about what I'm not trying to be mean up to any of these women in this thing here. It's just that the way they've been kind of played into the story in the book. It's all kind of a hodgepodge of potpourri that we're just trying to throw people out there. It almost borderlines on Tony Khan booking that we don't know what else to do, so we're just going to mix up and let's see whose name we pull out of a hat. Okay, you two are going to wrestle one another this week, and then we're going to have these two come and interfere, and then we'll have the other two come make the save, and then we're gonna just switch out the pieces. Yeah. It's hard to get excited about any of these people. I mean, Sonya Deville could be great. She's really great in the mic. Zoe Starks has got amazing talent. Shayna Baszler is over the top. I mean, she's just being held back. Not to say any of these women should go to AEW because they won't be any better off. I don't care how Tony Khan and all these women in AEW say that the AEW women's roster is the best in wrestling because, I mean, anyways, we won't get into that. But, you know, these women all have different things.
Too early for that.
All these women have good things to bring. It's just they're not being booked right. Now, Kaden Carter and Katana Chance, I'm just kind of like, they either need to go. Yes, they need to go heel, or they need to be separated, or they need to be sent back to NXT. for a repackaging of something. They're just, I think they send them out there with those guns, and it's just too much happy, joy, and you're just like, yeah, it doesn't get over in this day and age.
They're the Ren and Stimpy of WWE.
It's fantastic that they put the rave feel out there, whatever, but it doesn't connect with the crowd. It doesn't mean anything. Is the problem? You
No.
want to party? Okay, so what?
Yeah, it's like this whole bunch of bag of happy,
Make
joy.
this woman mean something again. Yeah.
Oh, the Queen of Spades, Shayna Baszler. Well,
Yeah.
when you wish upon a star,
Thank you, sir.
makes no difference who you are. Oh boy. Anyways, we get to the fun of the night. Adam Pearce is backstage talking to security as CM Punk walks out to the ring. And we go to commercial break. After break, we see that we are in the cage with Adam Pearce and a wall of security. CM Punk comes down. What? Okay, this writer said he introduces first Charles Montgomery Punk. People and their biased writing.
Please keep your notes to yourself, sir.
They are his notes that he's sharing with the world. It's his opinion. Anyways. And then out comes Drew McIntyre. And the one thing that I noticed right off the bat, it's the first, well, of course, the first ever Hell in a Cell took place at Bad Blood and was between The Undertaker and Shawn Michaels. The original Hell in a Cell is back, the silver cage, the original metal cage, no red cage this year, thank God. And then I noticed that Drew McIntyre was dressed all in black, and Punk was mostly wearing the color he was wearing most. I mean, he had his logo on his tank top, but he was wearing white, which very much took me back to Shawn Michaels' Undertaker WrestleMania 25, where I made the connection to, the Hell in a Cell between Shawn Michaels and Undertaker, the good versus the dark. I'm sure there was a little bit of that play in there between them two, because Drew was completely in black and Punk was pretty much in white. And I know some people are like, oh, he wasn't wearing complete white. He had his logo and shit. I get that, but his main color was white. So,
yes.
Anyways.
I also noticed in the promo, he distanced himself a little bit from the devil part.
Yes.
Where his previous promo, he was talking about how he was the devil.
Yes.
Or the devil on his shoulder, whatever. He's still saying he's gonna, beat his ass and take his life practically.
Yes.
But it was less about being the devil and more just getting the job done.
Yes, Punk's basically going to hell, which Drew McIntyre came off more like the devil in this. So he was wearing the black for Punk's wife. He's going to bathe him in blood, and he hates Punk. Punk's promo was good, straight to the point. There wasn't a whole bunch there, other than Punk saying, I'm going to see you in hell. It won't be God he's praying to. It won't be the devil. It'll be CM Punk that Drew will be praying to. CM Punk killing it.
Yeah.
Tony Khan's got to cry himself to sleep every night when he sees that Punk's killing this stuff. And he had that man in his company and let it get ruined over fake glass and real glass. And now they're pushing a guy with a TNT title that looks like a pure joke, and you're just like, eh. Oh, we do hope that breaking news throughout the day or earlier. On Friday, Killswitch was found collapsed. He had low levels of oxygen or blood. His blood levels were low. He was diagnosed with pneumonia in both lungs and was close to being a very serious issue when his girlfriend found him collapsed in their home on Friday. I believe he's out of the hospital, but he's still under medical care. So we wish the best for Killswitch, as he has pneumonia, and that's in both lungs, not just one lung. He had pneumonia in both lungs. Pretty serious there. Since Jack Perry came up in the conversation, I just thought I'd touch on that. Braun Strowman's backstage with Jackie. They get cut off by the Miz, who then gets cut off by the returning R-Truth. They were surprised to see R-Truth here after being tsunami'd 5 times. R-Truth doesn't seem to remember any of it. He tells Braun, "See ya, Andrade." Miz asks him what he's doing here. Truth says he's here to work. He says he doesn't like how Cross has been picking on Miz. Miz says he's not picking on me. He messaged Pierce, and they got a tag match against Yeppo. And Miz goes, you mean AOP, the authors of pain? And Truth asks, what books have they written? And so, yes, we're going to get the Awesome Truth making their return against AOP.
What's up?
What's up?
Yeah.
LWO took on Judgment Day for the 18th under Tyme. Same shit, different day, different characters. Judgment Day wins. Gentlemen, go ahead.
There ain't nothing to add to this.
No.
Judgment Day
It was
setting.
more the storyline
Nothing to
progression
add.
of having Judgment Day attempt to look dominant
Yes.
without Rhea and Damien.
Anyway, Judgment Day standing huddled in the middle of the ring. Finn Balor tells Priest he doesn't have the heart, and Judgment Day never needed Priest. Liv Morgan relishes in the fact that she's a homewrecker, a man stealer, yada, yada, yada. And here comes Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest. Breakdown, fight back. 2 against 5. 5 get on top. Judgment Day stands tall. Yada, yada, yada. Not much here. I hope Finn Balor beats Damian Priest at Bad Blood just because Finn Balor needs a major win here. Damian Priest doesn't really need the win at the moment. I mean, Damian Priest can take the L to Finn Balor, but Finn Balor needs to beat Priest to kind of feel and solidify his spot as the quote-unquote new leader of Judgment Day, Street Trash, whatever their names are. But I'm sorry, I think Balor needs to get the win over Damian Priest here. It's not going to hurt Priest to lose here, but it would probably not do anything for Balor.
Not at all.
Priest win, I don't know if it would put an end to the storyline, but I don't think it does anything for anybody. A Balor win kind of gets the storyline to continue. Whether you like it or not is one thing, but at least it gives Balor a feeling like, okay, he's solidified himself as the kind of the head of the group because now he's beating Balor or he's beating Priest and he looks stronger. He just needs to feel like, you know, something.
They've used him in this mid card to upper, like low main event, spot for so long now, but he's not at the main event that his actual talent is.
Yes.
And that's why he needs this win, really. Is to re-solidify and remind people, yes, he is a main event star. There's a reason why you are drawn to this guy, why you are paid why you pay your ticket to either get to see him beat someone or to see him beat. Either way.
There was a
doesn't matter
reason.
which the alignment is.
There was a reason he was first ever Universal Champion.
Exactly.
Yes.
Anyways, from there, Sheamus cuts a promo on the loserweight Butch, and they're going to have a Donnybrook match next week on Raw. Then we had Chad Gable take on Kofi Kingston in a decent little match between the two. Gable kicks Kofi, Ivy distracts, Kofi whips Gable into the rope, Woods grabs the leg, but Kofi goes for trouble in paradise. He lands on his face, Gable turns, grabs Kofi, Chaos Theory cover 1, 2, 3. Solid match between Chad Gable and Kofi Kingston, but Xavier costs Woods costs Kofi, and again, Woods would be trying to apologize to Kofi. Kofi just kind of seemed rocked by the whole incident. We'll have to see how this plays out. Gunther's out here next. Okay, yeah.
The storyline.
Out next was Gunther. We get the Wyatt 6 video, which is very good. Don't know what they're talking about now, but we're going to have to wait and see. And then breaking news on a live show, Ilya Dragunov is injured, tore his ACL. He'll be out 6 to 8 months. Gunther's in the ring. He's talking about Sami Zayn and everything. Sami Zayn comes out and says, oh, you're just afraid I'm going to beat you. Gunther's upset that Sami beat him, and his daddy basically told him he's a loser because he couldn't get the job done. Sami brings it up that, yo, you're not just a loser. Your daddy will see you as a coward. Gunther takes down Sami, chokes him out with a sleeper, and then power bombs him pretty damn hard. Pretty impressive power bomb coming from Gunther there. Mr. Z is like, I don't know if I want that. Anyways, Gunther finally giving Sami his title shot, but not at Bad Blood. Next week on Monday Night Raw, the WWE World title's on the line. Gunther versus Sami Zayn. And you feel a little let down because it definitely feels a whole lot more like Gunther's going to win. Not that Gunther should lose, but at least if you would have put it on Bad Blood or some pay-per-view, you at least might have believed Sami was going to win. You put it on Raw, you're just kind of like, They don't really change the titles that much. It feels like a lesser match than it should be, especially since you've been building this up so long.
I feel like the point though is, it's the idea is to try to heighten Raw, like to get some more viewership for Raw. So that's why they put it there as opposed to.
Yeah. Well, I think it's going to be the first 2 hour Raw in many years.
Yeah. Woof.
Yeah. So Raw is going to 2 hours, I believe, starting next week. And at some point, we were looking at SmackDown to go to 3 hours. So we're just kind of waiting and seeing. Gunther and Sammy. Mr. Z, anything you want to add? You look like you're studying something pretty hardcore.
No, my AT&T's acting funky again.
Funky like a monkey on Wednesdays. All
I
right.
got nothing to add. I mean, I'm just trying to get excited for this. I mean, they've been playing into this. Sammy getting a title shot. I just free TV, folks. That's all I can say.
All righty. From there, we had the Awesome Truth take on the AOP. Truth started out. Miz wanted the tag. He got in, and then he kicked R-Truth in the face. Left the ring, left R-Truth to be alone. He gets beaten up. 1, 2, 3. Authors of Pain get a match. I don't even know what to say about it. I'm kind of like, nah. Heel Miz. We've had Heel Miz for so long. Babyface Miz was kind of growing on me. Going back to Heel Miz. Miz is going to feud with R-Truth. I guess I don't know. I guess I have to see what they're going to do with the Miz in this new heel turn. But that or Xavier. That or they're hopefully they're going to create the right storyline, because Karrion Kross started with Woods. Woods is starting to turn on Kofi. Then he started, pushing the buttons with Miz. Miz is now turned on R-Truth. So, I mean, this Karrion Kross is going to go start turning people, and hopefully if they continue to do that, which I'm not mad about, hopefully there's a payoff for Kross. Like, you can't keep having everybody turn on their friends or opponent or partners and not have some payoff with Kross. I don't know if you have him grow a big stable of these people who turned and joined the cult of Kross, or what you're doing. But there's got to be some correlation to this story. And I won't mind if Karrion Kross, I don't know who he would turn next. I can't think of anybody at the moment. But, continuing that storyline is not going to be a bad thing. But at some point, you have to bring Kross into full circle with, him being the instigator. Hopefully somebody eventually figures it out. I don't know. It's a weird... Don't forget Karrion Kross is the reason these are happening. Woods is turning, and Miz has turned.
Right.
Yeah, that's all we want. Is just a payoff. That's it. Just something big, something
Or
we
for
can sink our
Kross.
teeth into
For Kross.
instead of just something. But
I don't care if there's a payoff for the Miz, because I'm kind of like, oh, okay, Miz is going heel again. Cool. Hopefully
I'm not worried about the Miz. I'm talking about, like you said, for Kross. I want a payoff for Karrion Kross. Something big, something the fans can get behind, and nothing that just falls.
And hopefully for Woods, hopefully they have a decent payoff for Woods when he finally turns. That it's not just he may not may be main eventer, but at least get him into some contention, even if it's even if it's a U.S. title or Intercontinental title or something. Can we at least get some payoff for Woods? Like he feels like something, more than just he turned heel just cause We get Gunther and Ludwig Kaiser backstage. They're talking to Kathy Kelly before Braun Breaker walks up to Gunther. Gunther calls him a broad ass. Braun says Gunther will find out sooner than he thinks. Let's not Gunther Braun Breaker. He lost the Intercontinental title. Now we're going to push him into the world title picture. No. No. He is not main event level. He's not even a threat to Gunther. Okay, I'm sorry. He has not been presented in a position that I would even think that he would have the mobility right now to beat Gunther. Could he? Yes. I mean, there's all the world talent there. but you need to build him to be that, pillar of like, yes, I finally want to see him take Gunther out. I want to see Braun Breaker be this badass that feels like a threat to Gunther, not just Braun Breaker.
For all we know, this could have just been a tease for a year later.
Hopefully.
We don't know.
Hopefully.
Yes.
Hopefully Braun Breaker doesn't come out and spear both Sammy and Gunther next week. Hopefully we don't wind up going to a triple threat match. I'm just saying.
Lord.
Well, I mean, they do listen. They do listen to us. I mean, hell, we get the Shark Cage finally, so I mean, they might.
Man, you've been begging that for like a year now. You've been mentioning that every day since you've been on this channel. You've wanted a Shark Cage and a Judy Bagwell and a forklift match. Okay. And you should have been happy tonight because you had two big
I got
meaty.
the Shark Cage. I'm fine with that.
You should have been happy tonight because you got two big beanie men beating meat all over the place.
No, that's Chaos Theory.
Yes, tasty toes. Anyways, we have the last monster standing match between Bronson Reed and Braun Strowman. This is what you thought it would be. They tore up each other. Eventually, Braun's in the ring, and Reed goes up and hits two tsunamis. They eventually went through they went to the barricade and into the first or second rung of fans. So all security and refs and everybody were distracted by that. Yeah. Bronson Reed grabs the referee to throw him in the ring to get the count going, and then Adam Pearce gets mad at him for throwing a ref, and then he grabs Adam Pearce, and then Jason Jordan runs over and tries to break it up, and then he calls security over, and you can see Jason Jordan ain't trying to get mixed up in anything. And then, for the love of God, they let Braun Strowman jump off the top rope to the outside and dive on 20 men. And I think he squished about 3 of them in that chaos. Eventually, they stumbled back inside, and Braun Strowman was going to go off the top rope again, but he was out of energy and couldn't climb up to the top rope. Eventually, when he did, Bronson Reed threw a chair at him, and then they did a superplex, which collapsed the ring, which is usually what happens with monsters. Bronson Reed was about to get up. He was over by the steel stairs when out of nowhere, the returning Seth Rollins hits a stomp on Bronson Reed on the steel steps. Braun Strowman luckily gets up at 10. Right as the referee's about to say 10, he gets to both of his feet and immediately falls back down on his big butt. And, yeah. So that match was more about the return of Seth Rollins. And a beautiful picture of Seth Rollins staring into the face of Bronson Reed as he came back to and realized what happened to his ass. Great to see Seth Rollins back. Can't wait to see what's going to happen with him going forward. Raw was a mid-show. You had the highlights of the CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, the return of Seth Rollins. You got a few good pops here tonight. But otherwise, it was a Raw show. I don't know if they pumped you up outside of Hell in a Cell. I don't know if they pumped you up for anything else. And I hope
that is the selling point at this point.
I hope that Sean Ross Sapp is wrong, or at least WWE changes their mind, because the report that's coming out from him is that the Cody Rhodes Roman Reigns versus Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu is the main event match for Bad Blood. The main event match needs to be the Hell in a Cell. Period.
No.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was reported by Sean Ross Sapp. He said as of the time he said it, it was being reported. Yeah. So
I didn't see that.
I shared it, but because I replied.
I can't see it. It blocked me. It doesn't.
Yeah, but I quoted it and replied it and said, I hope this isn't true. And even Mr. Clarke quoted and replied to it. So, I hope it's not. I hope they change their mind. One or the other two, because Roman Reigns, Cody versus Solo, and Jacob Fatu is not a main event match. Yes, it's a long-term story, but it's not as big as the Drew McIntyre CM Punk Hell in a Cell, bringing back Bad Blood, where the first Hell in a Cell, there's too much that the Hell in a Cell should be the main event match. Why would any other match be when you're going back to Bad Blood, where the first Hell in a Cell was had? You have the greatest storyline right now between Drew and CM Punk. They built this down to a barn burner. Somebody might die in the ring in a way that's good, not like die because they're going to get lit on fire with gasoline or stabbed in the mouth with needles or beaten with 20 headshots with chairs. Like, these two men might kill each other, not not AEW kill each other, but like they're really willing to. They've made it feel that they're ready to go out there and basically murder the other guy, which is the good way to feel like somebody's
They
gonna.
made this a very believable match.
So this is the way you want to present a match where you think somebody's gonna die, not watching a match and going, "Oh yeah, yeah." So.
Yeah, no, they've got me believing that this is a believable love-hate, just a hatred match, a grudge match, something you would see in the old days of wrestling, that the fans were waiting for these two folks to finally get their hands on each other in a steel cage where no one can run, no one can hide, things can go down. This needs to be the main event.
Well, this is one that I'm afraid that we're going to see these guys on top of the cage. I have a feeling the Hell in a Cell is going to get broken open. They're going to go up.
No.
Who knows? Maybe Seth Rollins breaks into the cage. I don't know. I don't know if Punk and Drew are willing to risk that much. But again, I mean, if one of them goes through the top of the cage down to the mat, I mean, it's almost part of the match. Like, this match has to go to that level. This is the return of Bad Blood, so you're not only looking at Undertaker, Shawn return, but here's the other thing. The only thing that worries me is if you're going to pay homage, could we have somebody show up and interfere in this match? Or are we going to get Seth Rollins interfering, even though he should be sticking with Bronson Reed right now in his feud? Or is there somebody else who's going to come along and get in the middle of this that we're not expecting? I know I'm picking because of the past, but we are going back to Bad Blood. If we remember the first Hell in a Cell ever at Bad Blood, who showed up? It's gotta be Kane. By God, that's gotta be Kane. So there may be something there to pay the nostalgia, and there may not be. It may be just a barn burner, but I'm sure they're gonna get out of that cage. I'm sure they're gonna wind up on it. Will somebody fly off of it? I don't know. If somebody does, it probably is going to be Punk flying off there. I don't know if Punk's willing to take that bump, but I don't see Drew flying off there as pretty. It's going to be bad. It's going to, and they made it that way, and I'm dying to see it, and I'm excited to see it. And people are going to go, "Oh, what? You didn't want to see Swerve versus Hangman in a lights out match and blah blah blah." And I'm like, no, because they hadn't presented Hangman in a way to make him feel like a threat to Swerve by that point. And it was a stupid grudge match. This has been built to where it's so heated that, I don't know, they might try to stab somebody with table pieces in this match. It's going to get violent.
This is the perfect. Oh my goodness! But this was like, the way they built this is so perfect.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It was beautifully built from beginning to what we got, the culmination, the Hell in a Cell match, to end it all. This is what it's supposed to do. This is how you end a grudge match. This is how you end a story.
Yes.
I'm ready to see this already.
And we're down to the solid good guy, bad guy, because Drew was out there in all black, Punk out there in all white, and Punk's gonna win this match. I know a lot of people think it's gonna be Drew, but I give it 99.999% because yes, there's gonna be that point. Huh? Do what?
From a story perspective, I don't see why it would be Drew.
I know, but a lot of people think it's going to be Drew. But I mean, the story perspective, the way they were presented tonight, and this being the end of this grudge match, and Punk being presented as the babyface, he's going to come out the winner. I don't know, sure. Yes, there's that 1%, that tiny small sliver that it could go the other way. But I'm telling you, everything that's been presented here and the way this story needs to go, it could be Punk winning unless somebody's going to come in that cage, unless Seth Rollins is going to come in and cost them both, or somebody we don't know, or somebody we don't know is about to show up. Who knows? Somebody could show up to attack Punk and create a new storyline. I don't know. Maybe somebody shows up to attack Drew, but that doesn't necessarily make sense.
Right.
So.
The best way this goes is Drew beats him from pillar to post, and then we'll get the comeback to finish it for Punk to win. You got to present Drew to make that happen.
Well, I think both these men are going to bleed. Yeah. Both these men are going to come. I believe you're going to see kendo sticks, tables, outside the cage. Oh, I don't know. I think they went back to the steel cage. Is it? No, yeah, it is still surrounding the ring. It's gonna be violent.
Yeah.
It's gonna be violent. They're gonna be a good violent. It's gonna be a violent that makes sense, not just violence to have violence.
As
Just
long
to,
as we don't get the finish that we had at the Hell in a Cell with the Fiend and Rollins, as long as we don't get that messed up finish, I'm totally fine. I'm still kind of bitter about that one.
what about the Hell in a Cell where Rikishi got kicked off the top of the Hell in a Cell and fell in the back of a hay truck?
Why did I forget about that?
No, with these two men, this Hell in a Cell is going to go down in the record. I mean, again, we're going to Bad Blood, right? Bad Blood was where the first Hell in a Cell was. They're already paying homage to Shawn and Undertaker. Shawn and Undertaker, Mick Foley and Undertaker, that are probably, for anybody, those are probably the number 1, number 2 Hell in a Cell matches. There's those are the two to look at and go, that's what a Hell in a Cell match was. So now you're bringing back Bad Blood. You're putting in a Hell in a Cell match. Drew and CM Punk are going to take it to that level. This is going to rival that match, and it's going to be interesting. It's going to be worth waiting for. And I don't know how it doesn't be the main event. Oh, yeah. Cody Rhodes, Roman has a great storyline. That storyline is still going to continue.
Yep.
What?
Which is why it doesn't need to be an event.
No. And I'm sorry,
Exactly.
Solo Sikoa is not main event level. They have dropped the ball in trying to make the Timu Tribal Chief look like something serious. And, Rikishi's going, they're pushing Jacob Fatu too quickly. And I'm like, not really. Jacob Fatu is just that good. The fans are really into Jacob Fatu.
Yes.
He's just outshining Solo. Everybody they put around Solo, even though the gods...
We're finally going to get Roman and Jacob Fatu in the ring. Those two are finally going to butt heads. I'm looking forward to that. But no, this shouldn't be the main event, because once the Hell in the Cell happens, then fans are going to be done. You're going to wear them out quick. They're not going to be excited for the main event.
No, because the level of energy that match has to bring, you're going to be tired, and you can't follow that with anybody. And Solo's not main event. He's not main event. Jacob, I could say, is closer to main event than Solo. Even the Gorillas of Destiny feel a little more prestigious than Solo. They're not being presented in the best light for some people who know from New Japan.
Otherwise, we know that they can bring it. How they've been presented, like you just said, I don't know about.
No.
Yeah.
More prestigious than Solo.
No.
I think they're kind of on the same level.
Yeah, but Solo is just like,
But at least they're a tag team as opposed to a solo act.
Yes. Solo's just like lost in all of this. I'm just like, this is not good. They need something, a revival of somehow. I don't know. I don't know where the story. Well, I think I know where the story's going. It's going to be interesting because are they really going to have Kevin Owens, Randy Orton, Cody Rhodes, and Roman Reigns? And either, I guess it could be a 4-on-4, but I'm assuming they're going to go 5-on-5. But this is what it's looking like for Survivor Series War Games as the main men's match.
Mm-hmm.
Because it doesn't look like they're bringing back the original Bloodline right now. We don't know where Jimmy is. Jay's with the Intercontinental Champion. Hikuleo has been announced to have signed with WWE and is on his way to the NXT roster, as all reports are coming out.
Yes.
Zillow Fatu is in a weird space. It seems like he keeps canceling dates, and they keep hinting that he's going to come here, but then he winds up going to some other wrestling independent show. So I don't know if they're ready to bring in Zillow Fatu for all of this.
Anymore.
So it'll be wait and see. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that was your Monday Raw post-show review. It's been a week of crazy crazies. What a great interview we had with Mr. AJ Kirsch on a Saturday. Lodi Comic-Con, Chavo Guerrero, SPW in action. It has been a great time. Go watch the AJ Kirsch interview. It's one of the best interviews you're going to find in the wrestling podcast landscape for a true interview that's just like two people sitting down and just having a true conversation that's not full of BS.
All you needed in that conversation was a couple of beers and a snack. That's how good that interview was.
Yes.
It was like two buddies having a beer and having a conversation.
Yeah, hopefully we'll get that table for 4 with Scoot and Sir Samurai, where we can do a table for 4 on a budget, pizza and beer or something. We'll see how that plays out. That's that big sell there. We'll get to do that. We have a big interview with SPW World Champion, the Obsidian Adonis, Dark Fox Illuminate, coming up on Wednesday at 8 p.m. That'll be me and Mr. Z talking to him. We're going to learn all about the Dark Fox Illuminate.
Yes.
And that'll be a fun time, a good watch. Channel's always growing. Of course, tomorrow on the Patreon, you can go check out the New Japan Rebound podcast. And then on Wednesdays, we'll be right here on the channel. Wednesdays is going to be a hot day. A lot of stuff coming at you on Wednesdays. Friday, we're back with your SmackDown post-show review, which will also include a prediction show for Bad Blood on Saturday. Saturday will be Bad Blood. After Bad Blood's over, we'll sit down and give you a whole review of everything went down on Bad Blood. We'll see if WWE made the right decision by making the Hell in the Cell the main event, or if they just decided to snot all over it. There'll be a lot of talk. Sunday, me and Mr. Z are heading up to the beautiful city of Woodland, California. We're going to be joining Stampede Collectibles Wrestling Show. That's going to be the big event name there on Sunday. So if you're going to be in Woodland, California, the Woodland High School gym, Stampede Collectibles is going to be there wrestling from several different groups, including SPW, all going to be live in action in Woodland, California on October 6th. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the last show for Value Wrestling in September. Yep, isn't that crazy? Because tomorrow is October 1st. And not only that, ladies and gentlemen, we are ticking down to an end of an era right here on the Value of Wrestling in and in itself. The weekly podcast, or the this date in wrestling history, has reached 360 days. You have 5 more days before this date in wrestling history will come to a commencing. 1 year in the making, 1 year of getting up every day and making those videos to tell you what went down in this date in wrestling history. What'll happen there, that'll probably turn into a weekly show. I will tell you what happened in this week in wrestling history in a more long form where we can actually detail and talk about it a little more in depth. It'll give me another show to do. Will we have a new short daily video? I don't know. I guess that would be where I would tag out, because I did it for 365 days. If somebody else is ready to pick up that mantle and run for a short for 365 days, by God, go for it. But it is not an easy task. I mean, I saw people, you say you talk too fast. Well, I had a lot of information on that day, or I misquoted some. It is hard to sit there and try to take a whole bunch of information and cram it into 60 seconds, make it entertaining, make it feel like it's important stuff, and get it across and do it every single day. I don't know how some of these vloggers go out every single day. I guess it's a little easier because they're going out and doing something instead of just recording information, but they're going out somewhere and doing something, and they have like a whole day of recording, and then they can chop up whatever they want.
Right.
When you finally hit 365, when we go on to our next show, we'll make sure to have a moment of silence for this date in pro wrestling history, because you went the full 365. We'll make sure
we'll
honor
probably,
with a moment of silence.
We may celebrate that a little bit on Sunday when we're at the Stampede Collectibles show. But yeah, 365 days. It's crazy to think I did it for 365 days without missing a day. Even days that I was sick, I would get on here and do it. I mean, there was days that, I took a vacation recently, and, I made sure it was recorded and ready to go before I left. So, I mean, 365 days complete, true to date. It's a challenge. I mean, I don't know how to explain it until you go do it yourself.
Yes.
It's definitely a journey in its own right to sit there, especially in short form. I guess you could do a video every day, but having to do it in 60 seconds every day it's just crazy. Maybe Mr. Z will bring you this birthday, whose birthday it is. Maybe every day he'll get on here now and tell you everybody's birthday for this day. Yeah. 365 days of celebrating birthdays. You can go on there and go, today we sing happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday, blah, 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 happy birthday to you.
Can I do it in my birthday suit?
Are you trying to get us kicked off the air?
It was just a question.
Okay, you can be in your birthday suit, but every day you do it in your birthday suit is a day you have to get shot by somebody.
No.
Well, if you're gonna expose the chest and it's wrestling,
Yeah,
it means choppy, right? Hey, hey. Mr. Broseph, Joe Brody. That man right there, all the way home from Lodi Comic-Con, was talking mad on Nickelback. He said Nickelback was the worst band that ever existed in history. He said the New Kids on the Block were a
How
better
dare
band.
you.
He goes, Nickelback was
Read
only the
between the lines,
monkeys
Triple
of the
A.
modern era of music.
Read between the lines, sir. Please. How dare you?
He said Nickelback was just the modern era Creed.
So they came up around the same time.
Let's see.
Well, Creed was out first, I think, but
He said Nickelback was a cheap knockoff of the Beach Boys.
You know, he
Oh,
doesn't
Lord.
believe that. So it's all good. He might want to chop you.
He said the only good thing at a Nickelback concert is the screaming girls.
woo! There we go.
But not really, no.
See, he might believe you over you because you were the one that had the facial expressions when it was mentioned of Nickelback. You
Oh, I
looked
had
mortified.
to.
So
I
maybe
mean,
he
that was
chop you.
too good and perfect timing. If that didn't play into everything that was going on to pop a reaction and set up a story, you know, if I would have just been like, oh, that's cool, it wouldn't have had that same mojo. I mean, it was just too perfect to be like, okay, I knew it was coming. He was building it up, and that was like, oh, we're gonna hit Nickelback. Yeah, no. It was too good not to play into. You know, that was what made that I mean, and if you haven't seen the interview, you need to go set an hour and a half of your time out and watch this interview, listen to this interview because it was beautiful. And the way that AJ Kirsch and I just had this amazing connection in this interview. Do what? The flow, yeah. No, there was an amazing flow, the connection, just the camaraderie, and that's what's the great thing about wrestling is that people can come together like that. That may not have a deep history. Like I've known AJ since Stocktoncon in winter of last year. That's when I first met him. I've talked to him a little bit here and there, and you know, became buddies with him in that sense. But you know, to have that conversation, I mean, it felt like an old friend that I was sitting down with having that conversation. And of course, I'm sure it helps that he was a Shawn Michaels diehard fan. I'm a diehard Shawn Michaels fan. As I said, I named my own son after Shawn Michaels. I mean, that's how serious it was for me. But you know, it just all those things and just the flow, the way it went. He'd give, I give, and it was beautiful. I mean, it is truly one of the best interviews you're gonna find. Because you know, there was just nothing to it. It was just an interview.
And the icing on the cake was he wanted to be a part of the Choppy World
Yes.
Tours for me.
And
that popped me big time.
he signed his name into the Hall of Choppy. He is part of the Choppy Hall of Fame. He's been immortalized here with the Value Wrestling with a beautiful interview, but also that. And again, he was our first interview too, so I guess that makes him a cherry popper, right?
Sure.
So who's next? Is it Joe Brody? Is he gonna come? And then is he gonna choppy? Is we gonna have the bros of Joe Brody get into the Choppy Hall of Fame?
I think possibly only because I was told next time no tank top. So I think maybe
Yes.
Right.
might wanna...
Yes, you were told no tank top next time. So I mean, there may be a next time. There may be a part 2, or there may be a different interview. And of course, we have 2 guys out of Hood Slam who want to take you to what is it, Stoner University? It's time for you to hit the books and show up for class. I think you're going to get a 1-day a 1-day what is the 1-day pass to the university? Stoner U. You're going to have to hit the books.
Oh, no. Yeah.
You want to hit the high.
Yeah, he's going to have to hit those high grades, right?
Yes.
Going to have to hit cloud 9. You're going to have to hit a different level to study at Stoner University. So Mr. Z's called out some names. He's called out a couple names, and some of them are like, okay. So where will that happen? I don't know. Could it happen at Hood Slam? I've thrown it out there. Maybe Mr. Kirsch can bring us along for a Hood Slam event. Maybe Hood Slam sends out the invite. Maybe we make that happen there. I mean, could we bring Hood Slam onto the Value of Wrestling in some form or fashion? Could we attend a Hood Slam event so we can give a full review of what Hood Slam's like in detail?
Oh yeah.
So, I don't know. I think AJ would have to go with us. I think AJ would have to take us. I don't know. From the way this has been presented to me, this might be a life-changing event from what I'm understanding. The way it's been put out there, Hood Slam's wrestling on a whole different level. So I'm starting to become intrigued. I don't know. Have you been to a Hood Slam event, Mr. Z?
Yes, I have.
Okay, so you know what it's all about. You know the vibe. It's a party. So yeah, I hear this is a party. It's a party with a wrestling show in the middle of it all. So it's a whole new level of wrestling. All right, I'm taking that from a former.
If you search through YouTube, there's a few shows.
Yes, but again, in that type of environment, and the way it's been painted to me, it's very different from watching it on a YouTube channel than being there live. This is one of those few wrestling shows being there live.
You have
The idea is
to
to
be
give people a taste.
Yes.
And if you want to get a taste, you go to that AJ Kirsch interview because they talk about it.
Yes.
A little bit.
No, yeah, and he definitely details that this is a whole different wrestling show on a whole different level. It might be life changing. Don't know, but maybe the Value Wrestling will be invited to a Hood Slam show to give a take, maybe meet some of the stars, maybe do some interviews. But I know there's two guys that are looking to sign their name in the Choppy Hall of Fame, join the Choppy World Tour. Of course, there's rumors and speculation they might show up at another show that we're already booked to go to. Who knows? And speaking of shows, man, Collectible Stampede, October 6th, so this Sunday. October 20th, SPW's Ghouls, Frights, and Wrestling Tights. SPW is going to be a loaded card, and it is going to be a night that you want to be there. The Costume Battle Royal is going down. It is going to be a fun time, and you can dress up. They're going to have a costume contest. Chopper treat is the key word. They're going to be giving out candy, but I mean, it's going to be a show to see because I mean, the card for this show is definitely loaded. If I can find it again, because you're going to have Jack Tracy there defending the SPW Extreme Championship, not only against Bobby Callahan, but Daniel George going to get back in the ring, and Eliza Hammer, part of the SPW Tag Team Champions, part of the Honor Society, with Drake Frost, and Sir Samurai. Speaking of Drake Frost, we are trying to work it out, a schedule with him. We're going to sit down with him at some point and sit down and have an interview with him. And that might be another name that enters the Choppy World Tour also. Bryce Kuza and Aiden Andrew will both be live in action at this show. Along with other matches, I'm trying to see. Oh, yes. Scoot is going to take on El Guapo Lupe. They're going to have a match. Will Chima be there with his buddy? Will we be chanting Scoot? Will Chima give the death stare? Will Chima try to take another choppy at Mr. Z after what went down at Lodi Comic-Con? I mean, we're going to have to wait and see. And, of course, the big main event, the SPW Championship match is going down. The SPW Championship is going to be on the line as Illuminate, the Dart Fox, the Obsidian Adonis is going to take on Jekyll's. And I remind you, Illuminate has been champion for over 350 days now. And it was 1 year ago at Ghouls, Frights, and Wrestling Tights that he won that championship from Scoot Robinson. He's looking at a 1 year reign. Will his title run come to an end at Ghouls, Frights, and Wrestling Tights? Ladies and gentlemen, you may want to be there. This may be a big night in SPW history. Will we see a title change? Will Jekyll's become the new SPW champion? I don't know, but there's a good chance we might see that title change hands. So you want to be there. It's going to be the biggest Halloween party that you're going to find this whole Halloween. Be there. Catch us Wednesday when we do this interview with the Dark Fox Illuminae and get some more details, because I'm sure he's going to share how he feels about Jekyll's and what his plans might be for his upcoming match. And we're going to talk about his 1 year reign, his near to 1 year reign as SPW champion. It's going to be a lot of fun, a lot of great stuff going on there. And then we're going to turn around and November 2nd, so October 20th to November 2nd, finally, Realm of Warriors Championship Wrestling returns to the Lodi Great Festival grounds in Lodi, California for Fall Fury. Yes, Fall Fury. Action-packed card coming to Fall Fury for the Realm of Warriors Championship Wrestling. And at one point they had a card, and I'm not, so there it is. There is the card. So on that card, we're going to see the High Council take on Too Fresh for the Ring of damn it, I always do that. The Realm of Warriors Tag Team titles. Jerry Gigolo, the man who fears the value of wrestling, will be in action against Brendan Humphrey. Michael Hayashi is going to take on Mighty Myra in I believe that's an intergender match right there. Tarzan Duran, Kenny K, and Rancho Camacho are going to go at it in a triple threat match. Damian Drake will take on Jordan Oasis. Not Orlando Jordan, but Jordan Oasis, just to make sure we're being clear there. Chemo will take on Midas Creed as he will defend the Realm of Warriors World title. And then it'll be another great slow dice street fight as the South Pacific Savages, the Bike Club, and 209 Click are going to tie it up in a triple threat low dice street fight, where that battle will probably fall out of the ring and go all over. It's going to be a time to be at Realm of Warriors Championship Wrestling, November 2nd, Lodi, California. You can check them all out where they are. SPW, Ghouls, Frights, and Wrestling Tights. So much stuff to advertise. We are busy, ladies and gentlemen. We told you a long time ago we're going to make these things happen, and here they come. So, and of course, we'll be excuse me. And of course, we'll be returning in February to Stocktoncon. Stocktoncon is coming back in February 15th and 16th. We can't wait to see who's going to be there. It's going to be a fun time. So much coming up. The end of this year is going to be fun. Of course, SPW's got some big events laid out. Every third Sunday of every month, they have a live show. In November, they're going to have a big food drive. And in December, they're going to have a big toy drive at these shows. Lots and lots of fun stuff coming out. But I'm telling you right now, if you're not planning to be in Elk Grove, California on the 20th of October for the biggest Halloween party in Elk Grove, I don't know what you're missing out on. We need to pack this house out. This place needs to be packed out. Let's make it standing room only if we can, because I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, the card is stacked. It's going to be an amazing show.
Yeah, I want to see standing room only like it was at Lodi Comic-Con, where every seat was full and there was still a packed house behind that. I want to see that energy brought on the 20th.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be a fun time. It's going to be an amazing time. And hell, Always Ready Matt Cardona is looking for independent places to go wrestle in 2025. Could he make it to any of these local places? Is the Always Ready going to show up? Could the Value of Wrestling connect with the original Choppy Choppy? Could he get a round 2 of the Choppy Choppy World Tour? Can we do it again just so he can reset the bar? You know, I mean, when you first do it, you get to set the bar, but then everybody tries to beat you. So, you know, you always got to come back one more time, maybe let him have a second chance to see where the bar is gone and if he can top the bar. But not Sheamus's Sorrow bar.
Oh, jeez. Here we go.
I mean, not a T-bar?
Nope, not a T-bar.
Ooh.
Not a Lonely Bar. Not a Neon Moon Bar. Not at the bar at the end of Lonely Street. Not a bar none. Not the Funk Bar. I don't know what else. I'm out of things. Anywho. Not Tim White's bar. No. Not a Crowbar.
Oh,
or
geez.
not a Crowbar or Crowbar. There's actually a thing at Crowbar, and there was a wrestler named Crowbar. Not Bar None.
Exactly.
Yeah, no.
Not Bar None, because, well, you know, you don't want to do Bar None. All right, we're done with the bun pars. The bar puns. There we go.
Yeah, there you go.
Ladies and gentlemen, we thank you for being here. We thank you for tuning in. We had 7 people come here. I saw 5 likes, 7 people. I need 2 more likes to make it all match up. Thank you for being here. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. we are going to be back Wednesday, I think. That may be that live interview with the SPW champion, the Dark Fox Illuminate. And, yeah. And Mr. Z, I guess if we get Drake Frost in an interview, you're going to have to, you know, take that chop too.
Yeah, I know.
Now, if we do one with Scoot and Sir Samurai, do they get to
It'll
chop you
happen.
too?
Go ahead.
I mean, if we do the interview with Sir Samurai and Scoot, do they get to double chop you? You know?
What am I gonna get out of this, man? You gonna buy me dinner?
Look, brother.
I think you know what it means, isn't it? It's supposed to be beer and pizza?
Yeah, there's gonna be beer pizza already there, so I mean, you should already be having a nice full stomach. And anyways, you know, it's like somebody said, you know, you have your work husband, and you know, I know my role, and you need to know yours.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. Revitalize, my friend.
Yes. But I mean, are you not feeling like you're getting a little bit of fame? I mean, are you not getting a little bit of recognition? I mean, hey, I think you're getting some big names on that list. I mean, I think that's incredible. You're getting people from some. I mean, I think Hood Slam is a pretty well known wrestling company, at least here on the West Coast. I mean, they seem to be going Bay Area, Reno, LA. You know, I think, you know, we may even run the Hood Slam in Vegas when WrestleMania comes around. So I mean, we may be moving up in the world. I mean, that's why maybe the invite from Hood Slam might take us to another level. I mean, who knows? You know, one road leads to another. We're starting to make these wonderful connections. Who knows when one day one of these connections opens that door, and you're standing in front of your best friend Tony Khan. Or we're walking backstage into a WWE event. And then you can take a picture with Nia Jax and make your homeboy really, really jealous.
There's a good handful right there, but like I said, he was at that show, so he's fine right now. He's okay. He'll be all right.
I mean, we made Mr. Clarke jealous because we got to stand with Bailey, but you know. One day.
Look one day, Mr. Clarke. It'll be okay.
One day.
This is the same guy who has never let it down that I got to go to a Garth Brooks concert. So now this is his revenge because he got to take a picture with Bailey.
Yes.
I get it.
Yes.
Oh.
And we also have to add in the other thing. You had that extra ticket that somebody we both know didn't go, so you had an extra ticket.
It wasn't my ticket to give. So
Oh, I know, but
you
it
the
was
wrong person.
back then. You're like, oh yeah, we had an extra ticket.
But am I the triple third ball? Since I'm the only one that's left that you can say something to.
Well, I can't find the other two yahoos that went to a Garth Brooks concert and had an extra ticket because we don't know where any of them are, and I'm not going to mention them on air.
Well,
There you
one's.
go.
Well, no, she's not there anymore. Never mind.
See, there you go.
Yeah, we're not going to get too many people's names out there. At least not on air. You know, we're going to try and be.
Right.
We don't need to bring ghosts from the past back into them now. What?
No. I was gonna say, you bring up one day walking backstage at W. As long as it's there and it's not a media scrum, we're good.
Yeah.
We're okay.
I mean, there's only one person I can think of that we all know that's probably a ghost we all may or may not want to return into the present. I mean, there is a what would we say? Jolly White Giant.
Gotcha.
Right.
That's probably a name you
He's
don't.
great. I would love to have him on the show.
I mean, that's one name we probably don't want to say 3 times because it might happen. He might appear. He might not be a stone cold killer anymore, but he might be more like a Joe Henry. Say his name, man.
I'm just saying, Kahuna Slick returning with DJ would be fun. Detective Jim.
Yeah. Well, there's always fondness. You could have Detective Jim, but we could always have fondness for a secret agent, man.
Oh Lord. That
we'll
doesn't
get
work
off
without a
that
sweet
one.
Juliet.
There you
Oh,
go.
well, I mean, anything could happen there.
Oh, yeah.
No, not really. Not really. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna get out of here. Say good night, gentlemen.
Good night,
Good night,
folks.
folks.